Hey everyone. First of all, I want to wish you a happy new year and welcome to our LinkedIn Live event where Sandy and I will be sharing some of our updates with Real Estate Closing Path for 2024. We'll kind of do a little bit of a recap of 2023 and then also look ahead at what's in store in 2024. Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded and this recording is the exclusive property of Real Estate Closing Path. All video files and commentaries shared during this session belong to RECP and may be used in future trainings or marketing promotions. And again, if you're new here, if you don't know who we are, this is a little bit of our background. We are the third branch in a suite of organizations owned by Marianne Harris, who started in the industry over 20 years ago with a company called Positively Balanced, which handles third-party escrow account reconciliation. And then a few years ago, she opened Positively Closed, which provides remote closing support solutions. If your office has a high volume of closings unexpectedly, or maybe you've got someone out on maternity leave and you need some fill-in, or if you want to outsource the post-closing, et cetera, Positively Closed is there to help. And then we are Real Estate Closing Path. We are really the training branch where we cover training in all aspects of the closing process. We help with job placement when we can, but a lot of what we do lately is helping to train people who are already hired and placed. They might be brand new to the industry and learning the ropes, or we also can assist with what we like to call cross training. Maybe you've been in one software and you need practice in another, or maybe you've been a post closer and you want to step in on the pre-closing side of things. We can really help fill in some of those gaps when needed. So this slide shows a little bit of the different workshops that we offer. There are 9 total. Any of these workshops can be offered to your firm as a lunch and learn. We'd love to come in either in person or virtually and help train your staff. And then we can also customize any training as needed. Also, we invite you to follow us on social media, wherever you hang out. Of course, we're here on LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you are and like to keep tabs on what's going on in the industry and what might be new with RECP. We invite you to follow us there, Real Estate Closing Path. My name is Janis. I'm the executive director here at Real Estate Closing Path. While I have never been a closer, my background was in education, and I was brought on to help provide some of that structure and support and helping to create curriculum. I help with scheduling and onboarding students, networking with sponsors, etc. And then I also want to introduce my illustrious colleague, Miss Sandi Donaldson. She is the true pro and expert on staff, where she is the lead trainer for all of our workshops. It is her brain and expertise that has been captured in our curriculum. And Sandi, I'll let you introduce yourself if there's anything else you want to add or say here. You're muted. We didn't hear you. Your mic was muted.
So sorry. I said, I think you've said it all. Just when you think you've seen everything, you haven't.
Right.
Let me just add that.
Yeah. Well, you are very humble because you do come with a plethora of experience on all different sides of the closing process. And again, truly, we like to consider ourselves the dream team. You've been a joy to work with, and you certainly have taught me so much over the years. And I know you've been a great asset to our students and our company. And then just a quick shout out to Pierre. She's also on our team. She helps with marketing. She's also an assistant trainer, and she's our moderator in the chat box today. So thanks, Pierre, for being here. Again, so much of what we do could not be done without you.
That's true.
So first, I thought I would focus a little bit on the growth and expansion that we've experienced in the last year. I still consider us a startup. I would say as a company, we're about 2.5 years old. I don't know at what timeline we can let go of the startup label, but I feel like we've come a long way to take something that was a dream and an idea of Marianne Harris, where she really saw a need for more training in the industry, and she really had the vision for what this company could be, and she really was again, the first leader with the vision to help put all the supports in place to create what RECP has become. When we started, we focused on in-person training in our Ackworth office location. And since then, we've really transitioned to just about everything we do being virtually online. So that's been a big jump. We have not had any in-person classes, and through the virtual training, we've been able to reach more people in more locations. So I think that's been a huge asset, and then that really has set us up to be able to expand, eventually into other states, which is one of our goals for this next year. Again, I mentioned the lunch and learns. We do offer also one-on-one, which can be done either in your office, or we do have some people who might come to us for a day of training. We have also transitioned from focusing on people who might be brand new to the industry. This is something that people can be trained to do without having to have a college degree, and yet maybe have more income earning potential. So that really was a focus early on. And then with a slight downturn in the industry, we changed, again, lanes a little bit and have focused more on shorter, smaller, targeted workshops. Where again, maybe someone's already been hired, but then we can help get them up to speed with whatever their role might be in the office. Most of our training is for either realtors, attorneys, and their staff. When I say attorneys, it might be an attorney who's been already working in immigration, but they want to add on real estate law. So that maybe they've been a lawyer for a while, but they're adding on this new field, and they need some help getting caught up to speed and knowing all the ins and outs and tips and tricks to be successful in their firm. So that's been a lot of our enrollment base in this past year. We also transitioned from having an 8-week beginner course, which was quite a long time. We've shortened that down to a 4-week beginner course. And the main difference there was the in-depth level of software training. We were initially trying to give kind of a survey training of the leading 3 software, which would be Qualia, LandTech, and SoftPro. And we felt like that would make students more marketable when they were looking for a job, that they would kind of, at least have a cursory experience with the different software in the industry. But Sandi and I have always been big believers that, once you know the foundation, then you can pick up any software. Do you want to speak to that, Sandi?
I would say certainly we want to teach the concept. Understanding the whole process conceptually, in my opinion, is way more important than the mechanics. You can teach people the mechanics of anything. If you had wanted to be a brain surgeon, you could learn how to do it. But understanding what you're doing and why and what comes next, that is the key, because the whole business is about relationships. So the mechanics is much less important to us than understanding, making sure that we understand the concepts.
Yeah, that's good. Another analogy that we use a lot is that we like to say we teach people to drive, but every car is a little bit different, right? Just like every firm might have slightly different software, slightly different protocols of how they handle their closings. But if you understand how to drive, you're much more apt to be able to step into just about any car and be successful, or any role in a firm and still be successful at your job. So that's what we do. We teach people to drive. A few other notes here. We do have monthly training workshops. Again, those 9 different workshops that we've created, we do run those just about every month. And we do offer a master's certificate for those who complete all 9, which we feel like is a great accomplishment if you stick through and run through all the workshops. And again, I just do want to clarify that's our own just way to honor the commitment and the training and the education that has been accomplished. Just as a reminder, there is no professional licensure in the industry. But we do have a strong network of sponsors, and again, beginning to create hopefully a name for ourselves where that certificate and training would have some weight and merit. Again, we've been able to expand to some other states as far as training. While we are based in Georgia, we've done training in other states and actually another country, which I'll talk a little bit more about on another slide. And we've been able to push through and work on some accreditation so that people who do take our courses can get some other credits that are needed in their specialized field for their licensing. And we also have a new office location. We originated in Ackworth. Our office is now located in Kennesaw. And that's our team here, which this was back in May when we had a ribbon cutting. And Sandi, what do you see as maybe the advantages of our new location?
Well, hopefully it's a little bit out of the fray. You know, it's quieter for us. And so when we have people either online or we do have a physical classroom. So if we have students, and occasionally I do have one-on-one students, I have one next week coming physically to our office. So we're better able to focus, you know, so it's better for us and for the students. Also, the location is much more accessible to the interstates.
Yes.
So if somebody had to come here physically, it's easier to get to, which was the initial concern.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to be a little more centrally located for either students or guest speakers who might be in person. Although again, most of it's been online lately, but we're happy in our new location for sure. And then just another slide, we call this our lunch and learn menu. So we've been able to do a few lunch and learns, but this is something we'd love to expand on in 2024. And then again, as Sandi mentioned, we are set up perfectly to have any kind of in-person one-on-one training. This is Nathan Feldman, who came to us a few months ago, and it was just a joy to have him. After a day with Sandi, he said, if you're thinking about training with RECP, absolutely do it. Sign up. It's awesome. A lot of learning, hands-on, and good people. The staff know what they're doing and are very easy to work with. So we appreciate that shout out from Nathan. A couple of just simple statistics as we look at the last year and some of the things that we've accomplished. From our social media, it says we received 40,000 impressions, over 500 posts, reaching 21,000 people. That's a lot when you think about, you know, kind of starting from nothing and then being able to grow to that level of recognition. It's pretty exciting. Our MailChimp list has grown from 3K to 4K. So that's our email newsletter software. And so that's a big jump in a year as well, where people might find us from Googling online or network with us at conferences and then want to keep track. Some of it's certainly students who keep in touch with us. It says we have 756 Facebook followers, 984 TikTok followers, and just over 1,000 LinkedIn. And I'm probably most excited about that TikTok number because, and I don't know if you know this, but once you hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, then you're able to go live. You can live stream. So that could be in our future for social media. And then the last fact here in that lower right-hand corner, it says we trained over 40 students in Florida, Georgia, Maryland, let's see, MA, help me.
Massachusetts.
Thank you. Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, all those M's. New York, Virginia, and our foreign country is Morocco. We actually got to assist with training a team overseas, and that was really a wonderful experience. We're excited to have been able to connect with them. So who knew? You know, I certainly didn't see that coming last January, but it's been wonderful. Yeah. And again, just kudos to Sandi for always being willing to take on whatever students come our way. You know, I know she's had to face different, you know, at times language, you know, barriers or, you know, technology challenges and so forth.
Time
really
zones.
Our rocks. Yeah, different time zones. That's right. So good. Another accomplishment that came our way in 2023 was accomplishing a trademark and copyright of our logo and our curriculum, which we're very proud of. Our book, our curriculum is over 350 pages of everything having to do with closing. And I thought I would just show, it's been a long time since we've looked at it, but you know, if this gives you any sense of, you know, what was done in the last, you know, couple of years. And again, that all comes from Sandi's wisdom and experience. So we're so grateful for that. It contains all the different training schedules, whether it's week by week, day by day, hour by hour. It's got all the content outlines, graphs, handouts. We've also curated a library of video content that includes our guest speakers over the years who are leaders in the industry. You know, everything from title representatives, different attorneys, realtors, closers. We've even had, for example, a cybersecurity expert come in and speak to our students because that's, you know, the prevalence of wire fraud is a concern in this industry. So we really have tried to cover all aspects of what someone would need to know to really be well prepared for a career in the industry. And then here it says quizzes and Kahoots. So we really are treating this like a school. You have, you know, if you were in a weekly class, you'd have weekly quizzes and there's a final exam. And if I don't know if you're familiar with Kahoots, but that's a trivia like review software that we use in our workshops that students seem to really enjoy. Anything you want to add or say here, Sandi?
No, it's exhausting when you look at the whole list all at
Yeah.
one time.
Right, right. Again, it's impressive, and we get.
I will say that
Yeah.
all of the organizational part of everything that's happened, from our schedule, what happens in our office, to every page that's in that curriculum, Janis formatted the whole thing. So without that input, it would be 300 pages of chaos.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, it is a big collaboration as far as taking raw information and formatting in a way that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, we came with just a little bit of brainstorming and little bitty outlines that became this whole book. So it's been a wonderful journey together. All right, something else that happened in 2023, we started doing these monthly LinkedIn Lives, and a lot of our students and networking has come to us through this lane. And you can see a list here of all the different topics that we've covered in the last year. Things like history of closings in Georgia, know your lingo, which has to do with all the acronyms and vocabulary that are unique to this industry. Keeping it cool in the closing industry, which is just about customer service and how do you handle difficult clients and tricky situations that may come your way. Again, I mentioned the cybersecurity. Our expert on call is Chris Knowles with Beyond Computer Solutions, and he's always on standby when we needed a good guest speaker, and has helped with our students and has always been one of the favorite guest speakers in the past, for sure. marketing tips for title agents. We've had a couple of guest speakers. Of course, Marianne Harris, our founder, talked about her vision for RECP. Jennifer Connor, a realtor who's also been a closer and also networks with PB and PC, our sister organization. She's been on standby as a volunteer speaker, a guest speaker, and we have many more planned for 2024. And if you've missed a LinkedIn Live that you think you would be interested in, these are all linked from our website. We have a tab under training called LinkedIn Live Events, and you could go back and review any of these at your leisure. Do you have a favorite one, Sandy?
Oh, keeping it cool for sure.
Yeah.
Again, the others involve mechanics. And, you know, the best part of this industry is the people, and the hardest part is the people. So, you know, again, you can't possibly teach every conceivable scenario, but it's good to have a little ammunition and to know how to troubleshoot, because problems come up. They come up in every job every day, but we're dealing, psychologist tells us death, divorce, and buying a house are the three most stressful events in your life. So, you know, and sometimes we've got buying or selling a house as a result of death or divorce. So, you know, you've got a lot of emotion going on. And so it's good for us to learn how we can channel that. Sometimes I always like to tell folks, particularly in pre-closing, that you do a lot of private investigator work. You become part PI, but we also become part psychologist.
Yeah.
Because we've got to figure out what the actual problem is and what, if anything, we can do to solve it. So how we carry ourselves, that is the most important thing. Maya Angelou says, people remember how you made them feel. That's the thing that we have to remember. When people walk away, we can't stop every problem from happening, but we do have an impact on how people feel when they leave our office.
Yeah, that's well said. I really appreciate you mentioning that. And so sometimes there's a little bit of hand holding that has to go into the process. And then I just wanted to add that we literally have what we call customer service scripts. We'll help you with some of the right phrasing, you know, what to say to help de-escalate what could be a tricky situation, you know, when maybe someone's triggered and stressed and having a bad day, and yet you're the one that's got to handle that in a professional manner. And you really have a lot of good things to say in that particular workshop. And we'll be running that one again sometime in 2024 for sure. Good. Also in 2023, we got to attend some special events. CTIC, which is Chicago Title Seminar at the Georgia Aquarium. I believe that was last March. We were not speakers at that event, but just to attend was an honor, and to be able to support their attendees and at a really fun location. That's kind of a perk of the job, that we get to go to some special places. And Old Republic had an event at the Battery, which we got to attend and kind of tour. So if you don't know, that's at the Braves Stadium, and we kind of get to tour behind the scenes, and that's also fun. The ICLE in May was in Amelia Island, and that's in Florida, which is another just beautiful location. And again, you know, if you got to work, it doesn't hurt to have, you know, a nice environment. And again, with really nice people. We did get to connect with some new potential students there. And then quarterly, we try to attend our local SLTA luncheons at the Dunwoody Country Club, and that's the Southeast Land and Title Association. And we're networked with some of the others, Alta, TNLTA, et cetera, around the country. So not bad, and looking forward to some more in 2024. Next, I thought I would share a few slides of testimonies of some of the students that we've had in class over the past year. It's always good to hear when you feel like the work that you've done was well received and helped someone to be more prepared or successful in their career. This is one of our students, Tia Bridges. She was a new attorney and learning the ropes of real estate law. She said, this program is a must. The knowledge I gained from the courses is extremely valuable. I'm definitely going to take more courses in the future. Sandi and Janis made me feel at home. I was extremely comfortable with asking any questions that I had. I'm in the process of opening my own law practice. I did not feel confident before. However, after taking these courses, I feel ready, and I know that I have a team behind me if I ever have any questions. Thanks, ladies. I mean, how lucky are we to have had really some of the best people to come through our class over the past year. Next one. This one said, Sandi is very thorough with her training techniques. She teaches with great care and is very engaging and informed about all the training topics. Sandi has a wealth of experience and shares it as it is. I love listening to her past real estate stories. Sandi was awesome and really broke down everything and answered all questions we had. Yay, that's a glowing review. This student said, I love the courses and will definitely recommend to others. I learned a year's worth of on-the-job knowledge in just a few hours. I look forward to working with you and your sister companies again in the future. And last one, this was a Google review. This one says RECP's courses and workshops are absolutely amazing. They include all of the information and resources that you would need to get started in the real estate closing business. After a few workshops, I feel more confident than before to conduct real estate closings from start to finish as an attorney. I also appreciate that each and every staff member and training expert is willing to lend current and former students a helping hand when we need it. I highly recommend anyone to take the courses and or workshops that they have to offer. Sandi, I thought you might speak a little bit to what kind of service we can provide even when workshops are over.
Well, we tell everybody that depending on how young they are, they may or may not understand, but I tell them RECP is Hotel California. Once you're one of us, you're always one of us. You can never leave. And so they are, we want to be an ongoing resource.
Yes.
So if they have a question going forward about the specifics of something or a general concept, and again, we may not know, we certainly don't know everything, but we do know a lot of people. So we'll just keep asking till we find somebody that knows the answer. And so we want to we want them to see us just like you would see your customer support for your software. We want to be your conceptual customer support, you know. So if you have a question about procedure or how to make something work or what does this mean or what step is next, you know, we encourage everybody to reach out to us. And almost, not every day, but at least weekly, I get several emails from former students asking a question or following up with me about how they handled something. So we try to stay in their lives and know what's going on. They become part of our network.
That's right. Good. Wonderful, wonderful, Sandi. Next, we want to welcome a new sponsor that we're excited to bring on board, ATG Title. And just a reminder that if you decide to network with RECP, if you would like to be a sponsor, that would include ongoing training either for your agents and staff. So we would definitely like to be of service to you and your team, however is needed. And again, we're just excited to welcome ATG Title this year. And this might be our grand finale, maybe the biggest accomplishment, at least from my perspective, is following through with some of that accreditation all 9 of our workshops have been approved by the GREC, and that's the Georgia Real Estate Commission, for realtors to get their continuing education credits through our courses. We're still working on approval with the Georgia bar. However, we can also add that some of our content has been approved in Florida for both title agents and attorneys. So we are stepping into expansion in other states, and we're looking at other states neighboring Georgia, and where we have other clients with our sister organizations for our future expansion. So that will be exciting to see what's next, who's next, and how that will unfold. All right, we're getting closer to the end here, but I thought I would just reflect with Sandi for a minute. What has been the biggest challenge so far?
The biggest challenge for me, I'm old. I don't like anything to change. My furniture is where it was when I moved in the house. I'm not moving. It's where it goes. I don't change things. So when they said, okay, we're going to start doing all this virtually, I go, well, who's going to do that? Because that won't be me. My immediate knee-jerk reaction is, yeah, I'm out. And yet, here we are, almost completely virtually. And I can remember the panic at first about, I didn't even know how to operate, which button do I push? I don't know how to make this work. To leading all these workshops virtually. So that was certainly a big challenge for me, which just goes to show that after 40 years in the business, there's always something new to learn.
Things change.
The rules and the regs change every day. We just talked today about we need to get our hands on the 2024 Georgia contract. So things change all the time. That probably is the one constant, and you're never going to know it all. And so this was a big thing in 22 and 3 that I had to learn and grow in. I wouldn't say perfect. We're still perfecting it, but anyway, that was a great big challenge for me.
You really have done a great job. I knew that was a big hurdle at first, but then once you crossed it, you have just been a rock star. So kudos to you. And so greatest reward in the last year?
Well, certainly personally, I get my sticker from Party City. Attaboy, you did it. Very excited about completing those workshops online and being able to have virtual students, but also to reach students in other states.
Yeah,
that's very exciting because that is something that we didn't see coming as soon as it has.
Right.
And also the biggest reward to me is hearing from former students, and we hear what they're doing and we see how they're succeeding, and we're seeing that they're connecting with each other and creating their own network. It's so similar to your feeling as a parent when your children are, you're working yourself out of a job, you're teaching them what they need to know so they can do it without you. And when they start doing it, it's a little bit bittersweet, but it's such a rewarding and a feeling and a great feeling of satisfaction to see these students out there on their own getting it done.
Yeah. Agreed. I remember recently we had some workshops where we had a couple of new attorneys kind of sharing that same journey. And so for them to be able to network and support each other, you're right, that was really wonderful to see. And then I did just want to circle back when you talked about expansion in different states. Again, if you don't know the industry, that's maybe a bigger deal than it sounds because some of the closing protocols change. Georgia is what we call an attorney state, but other states might be what we call a title state. And so some of the lingo is different, some of the processes are different. So for us to still be able to teach the fundamentals and still assist people, even if their system may look slightly different than ours, that's been a big accomplishment. I would agree with that. So challenge and reward at the same time. For me, the biggest challenge in 2023 was pursuing the accreditation. I didn't really know what I was doing or where to go or where to start or how to put it all together, and understanding what the law requires or understanding what the different state requires. What Georgia requires you to submit for approval is very different from what Florida requires you to submit for approval. So that was certainly a challenge. But then when those approvals came through, that has probably been my biggest reward. I was just so thrilled that we were able to get that done, because I feel like it will fuel more growth for the future, that more people will be inclined to follow us and then take our classes and workshops, because not only do they receive the knowledge, they get the credit they need for their licensing. So that's exciting. And we have just worked with wonderful people. That's always a reward. So last slide or two here. These are the goals that we had set for ourselves last January in 2023. So to reflect a little bit, we had intended to add accreditation, which we have done. We're still working on more and more of that, but we've taken some baby steps in that direction. Another thing we haven't mentioned yet, and this was a goal, to establish an on-demand video library. And again, we've tiptoed in that direction. We currently have 2 self-paced videos, which you can purchase on our website. Those do not fall under the accreditation as far as what the law requires. There's some different requirements for self-paced versus a live stream or in-person class, but the content is still there. We hope that'll be valuable, and we continue to expand. Our goal is to eventually have all of our workshops as videos. So we're getting there. That's a big goal for the next year. Expanding our list of class offerings, which we have done. We're working on some new projects, which I'll talk about on the next slide. Here it says expanding our network of nonprofit partnerships. That was a lane where we were getting a lot of our students from, places like the veterans community, or a special needs community, something like that. And since we have switched our focus from new people who are new to the industry to people who are already hired and need training, we are not pursuing that as much right now. We could pick that back up a little more down the road. We will see. And then continuing to enrich the lives of our students. We feel like that our testimonies have been good proof of that. And then here are the stated goals here for 2024. We're going to continue with our LinkedIn Lives monthly. We'll continue to add some new guest speakers and run some of the previous workshops that we continue to enhance and expand on from time to time. We just talked about creating more self-paced videos. That's on the list. Expanding our accreditation in other states. I think Texas and Tennessee may be next, but certainly I see Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina. I think those would just be a half step behind. I don't know how many we can do in a year. We may just try to add 1 or 2 new states per year, but we'll see how that goes. We're looking to add another assistant trainer. We just need to clone Sandi. So we're in talks with a handful of people that we think might be able to fulfill that role. But as we grow, we're going to need more assistance in that area. We hope to expand and promote more lunch and learns. We would love to add more sponsors like ATG Title. So some of the projects we are working on are what we would consider as extra classes to add to our current workshops. We are about 85% of the way through putting together a new attorney starter kit. And I don't know, it may need a more fancy name down the road, but something that would help attorneys who are wanting to add on this real estate branch. What are some of the tips and tricks that they need to know, from how to pick a software? What kind of questions do you need to ask when you're considering a software? What are some things to look for when you're ready to hire someone, et cetera, et cetera. So we're really trying to provide a lot of depth and detail to that. And then we'll see if we can get to this in 2024. It's still a vision. And this was suggested to us by one of our attorney students this last year. Could we put together some kind of onboarding blitz for new hires? So when you're the attorney, and you're ready to hire that first assistant to help you with closing, what are some things that we could have in place to make that a smoother process? Of course, we hope they'll all come through our training at RECP, but if there's anything they could have in front of them, and any kind of tip or cheat sheet, so to speak, we're kind of brainstorming, putting together something like that. So anything you want to add or say here, Sandy? How does this list look?
Super to me. I'm very excited about getting training support. Pierre,
Yeah.
by the way, is stellar as an assistant trainer. Could not do it without her. And she has a perspective that not another person on the planet has, having been one of our very first students and then gone to work in a firm. And then we stole her back because we needed her. But she and I would both not be opposed to some help. And then certainly we want to work more on our videos and those kind of things. And we talk a lot about that. Been working on that new attorney starter kit, and having these attorneys in our classes I had an idea of what I wanted that to look like. And then as I'm working with, it's been 4 or 5 new attorneys, one that's new to real estate law, and the rest are brand new, just past the bar. So what do we need to do? And of course, I'm not an attorney, so it's interesting. They have helped me so much. They've been a great resource for me in relating some of the things that they've had to think about and hoops they've had to jump through and that kind of stuff. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, very much so. This is an ambitious list, I think. I think we'll do well if we can accomplish, most of this. Hopefully, we have big dreams, big goals. Well, lastly, we do just want to thank our sponsors. We don't forget that it was a team of many, many people who shared in the vision to help launch RECP again just over 2 years ago. These people continue to be on standby for us as needed when we've had to call on a guest speaker, when we've had questions, etc., or they help to place and hire some of our initial students and so forth. So we really just want to give a shout out to so many different firms and title agents, and even, software companies and so forth that have provided all kinds of support. They've given us training licenses to help be able to demo software for students, etc. So we really just could not do it without others. And again, just so grateful. Thank you again for your time and attention. Next month, we'll be speaking with an attorney and another woman who's quite a visionary, Erin Glenn, and that'll be Thursday, February 1st, also at 11 a.m. And we look forward to time with her. So thank you for being here. Sandy, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.